No, we were talking. I was talking about Wonder Woman.
Mm.
And like, how far you want to take something out of the realm of what fans are familiar with.
Mm. Yeah.
Like character inconsistencies and shit, and
Mm.
I get, it's good to explore avenues and stuff, but I don't know, man.
Bro, this is
Yeah, I
Wonder
think
Woman.
you've always
You know?
got to keep it based in the law. You can't do something that was just never there in the law. Like, even though I'm not too sure what exactly is going on with Wonder Woman right now, you have to keep it based. Like, you can't. Like, it's just not. You just have to keep it grounded.
Based. Keep it based.
Keep it based. It's just genuinely like you can make like an exploration. You can go, but what if this happened? But you can't then change up the skill set or something like, or they magically learn how to do this when it's like or like, you know what I mean?
You can't
like,
give her the
just,
Master Sword, bro. That's like the wrong series.
You know what I'm saying?
I was thinking about lore, and I was thinking about Sean playing modded Skyrim, and he was giving me this long explanation as to why he would never put any Legend of Zelda stuff in a Skyrim mod, because it just doesn't fit with the lore.
Oh my god!
Of course you can. You can get a train.
Yeah.
You can get a train to replace the dragon. Give him Thomas the Tank Engine.
No
of course you
way.
can get a Master Sword.
But you can get the master. You can get the Master Sword in the game without having to mod it. Yeah.
On what
The
console?
Switch port,
Right.
the Switch port for Skyrim. If you have a,
That makes sense.
That makes
Is it an
sense.
amiibo? He's got it, hasn't he? He's got it.
I'm trying to see if I can find it.
That amiibo stuff is so mad.
I'm so dead.
Nah, she's gone.
Oh, rip.
I had an
Master Sword
Epona
for
one.
Really?
Yeah, cute.
Oh, that's cool.
No, I think. See, that's slightly different because I think games are less. How do I want to phrase this? There's not like there's less protective fans, but it's like you can have more leeway with them. You know what I mean? Like there are so many mods and stuff like that. Have you seen the guy that's modded
game,
Cyberpunk to like it's a PS1 game?
What?
Yeah.
Is this supposed to be a joke?
Mad.
Did he
No,
just?
it's proper sick as well, man. It's great.
I thought you were just going to tell me he just ran it on his PS4 or something. I want to Google it, but
Windmill is something, Sasha.
change his
Professionalism.
piss off.
I mean, with a game, there's a lot more freedom. You can just with a game. It's a game. We all know, like it's a game. Like I think it's like it's the same thing with exploration. As long as you don't, give Wonder Woman the ability to Kamehameha, like come. As long as it
I wouldn't even
stays
say that's too
basic.
much.
Well, that would be kind of jokes to see, though.
I would not say that's too much.
Literally.
But I get what you mean.
But
It's like
I mean,
if you're playing Mortal Kombat and you could use like reuse abilities from Street Fighter, you'd be like while playing as Scorpion, you'd be like, the fuck?
yeah, this is just.
But if they
Like-
implemented Ryo from Street Fighter into a crossover into Mortal Kombat, people be like, that's fucking mad.
Oh, touchy subject. I don't know if you guys ever heard about Street Fighter X Tekken and Tekken X Street Fighter.
I think I heard.
Yeah.
So I would have died for Tekken X Street Fighter instead of Street Fighter X Tekken, because the difference is obviously which one comes first is whatever the game's engine's built around.
So
Street Fighter X Tekken is
Yeah.
built around Street Fighter
Street Fighter's.
tech shit. So yeah, no, it's just not as. Oh, I just feel like Street Fighter's so stiff, and it took the characters, and I'm like, why would you do that to my squad? Don't do that. You know what I mean? But again, personal preference in that crossover sense. You know?
Yeah, fair. It's
Just-
like I recently got Mortal Kombat 11, and the fact they put like Rambo, the Terminator, RoboCop, and the Joker in it.
RoboCop is sick.
That's sick. That's so fun.
No,
But it's just because that universe is so mad anyway that it fits.
Yeah, they fit. It fits. It fits. It fits.
What do you guys prefer? What's more of your go-to? Street Fighter, Tekken, or Mortal Kombat?
You know what? I used to be a Mortal Kombat boy. I fucking loved. Was it Mortal Kombat versus DC? You know DC
Yeah.
when they.
Yeah.
I used to love that game. That game used to be sick.
Yeah,
But
the first.
Isn't that
fight,
essentially what Injustice
Yeah.
became?
it's
the end.
essentially what
Yeah.
Injustice became. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I used to bang that out whenever I had the chance. But now I'm more of a Tekken guy.
Big
to be
boy.
honest.
Big boy.
I don't really play
More of a Tekken guy.
fighters, so for me, I feel like Mortal Kombat's more enjoyable because I don't really play them. It's kind of easy to get, and you can button mash.
It doesn't matter that
And
it
win.
sucks because I suck.
Yeah,
Damn.
except it doesn't suck. But it's
It
also
doesn't suck.
fun.
It is fun. That is what I can say about any other fighting game that anyone may suggest, is that the objective is most likely met with a fighting game because the premise is so simple. You know, Street
thing is,
Fighter,
like-
it feels cool to pull off combos, and Mortal Kombat,
Yeah.
it's fucking cool to kill people. Like, it looks awesome. So
Like when I'm at yours and we're playing Tekken. Yeah, I just get my
It's not
arse
fun.
beat.
It's just
it's
not
the
fun.
sound. It's the sound of your cheeks.
Do I need to remind you of the 1v1 on Rust? Do I need to remind you of that?
Oh, Rust. Go on then. Go on then.
Oh
God.
no.
Oh.
That's it. Yeah, that game takes too long to study. I feel like that series.
It takes a while.
It's way too. It's way too.
But then I guess I can imagine how gratifying it is once you are good at it.
Yeah, for sure.
Can't relate.
Yeah.
Nah.
It's okay. It's alright. You don't have to, boys. It's alright. You don't have to relate. You just need to understand.
One day, one day, son. One day.
One day I'm just gonna turn up. I've been practicing my arse off. I'm just gonna wipe the floor with you.
I can't wait.
Just literally.
But that's actually a really good segue into what we're talking about. Very short cold open, but segues quite nicely into our discussion about violence in video games and shit. Because so I don't play many fighters, and I don't think I've actually played a Mortal Kombat game. Full stop. Which I know is like sacrilege for a gamer, but watching some of the fatalities, bro, that's some gory shit I wasn't expecting.
It is cool.
Yeah.
Like I saw the 18, but god, mental. But
It's gratuitous. It's very gratuitous violence.
It's
So
very
much violence,
creative
it's
as
like-
well.
It is. But like, it's not that violence that makes me violent. It's losing that makes me violent.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that.
Yeah.
It's losing.
Accurate.
Oh no. Very true. Very true. Yeah.
rip to old PS4 controllers after you've lost a couple games in a row. Oh god, why are they so
Was it fucking-
expensive?
I don't
Fucking
know.
road to shore with the
Road to
fucking
shore.
gaming chairs.
Oh,
With the
Yeah.
with the
Oh,
fucking
God.
chairs. Just flip a chair. Controllers are safe in road to shore. It's chairs, no need to worry.
I've spent so long trying to control the rage of a rage quit because I just cannot afford new shit. Like, as much as I'd
God.
love to just dash my controller through a wall, I have to step and be like,
Deep
yeah,
breaths.
no,
it's alright, I'm just going to put that
I've
down.
never broken anything due to rage. Never.
Yep,
Like-
neither have I. No,
The only thing-
I've never.
The only thing that I've managed to learn through raging is muscle memory to quit the fucking game.
Yeah, the quick quitters. The quick quitters. Oh my god. Oh.
That was me with with Uncharted. Oh my god, fuck me.
Just nope. Nope.
It saves at and it auto saves at the most like inopportune moments as well. You can be
Yeah.
like mid combat and you're like, okay, cool, that's fun. I'll just restart the section. I'll do it stealthily. No, you're fucking straight in the middle of it again.
Mhm.
Oh god.
Oh, that fucking.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny with me though? When I'm getting my ass kicked, I double down. Sasha will know about this. When I'm getting my ass kicked, I double down. It's like, nope, we're going again. Nope, we're going again. Nope, we're going again.
It's my piano teacher told me not to do this. I remember when I was younger. It's like whenever, I don't know if it was scales or if it was learning a piece, I play it through, and I was like 5 years old. I get so upset, like, I can't play it. He'd be like, Sasha, stop. Don't beast it. It's not gonna help. Just stop, read it, and do it again. Stop, read it, and do it again. Don't beast it. Because if you beast it, you're just gonna get lost in the rage, man. And that's an ugly place to go.
Don't get tilted, man.
Damn.
Don't get tilted.
Don't get tilted. The music got you tilted.
Even Spike said it makes winning easier. In a game like Tekken, it makes winning so much easier.
You know what's so funny? I've been watching a lot of like Warzone videos. So like one guy faced Kitty and Handler, and their opponents, because these guys, they're both like FaZe members, they're just dipping them up, just shooting, man, just quick scoping everywhere. It's madness, and people are getting enraged. You can hear people are upset. They are upset. Like, I swear, one guy told, like, I think it was Handler, to go kill himself, and like people are just like, oh my god, how did he see me? I was no, he's hacking, bro. He's hacking. I'm just like this, but it's like, he's got you tilted so bad. He's got you tilted so badly.
Knowing FaZe, they probably are hacking.
Yeah.
Do you think? Oh no. Oh god. I can't. No.
So when I was doing research for this, one of these studies I came across said that a lot of people, have the assumption that video games are the things that cause violence. Policymakers do it all the time. Parents think the same thing as well. And there's more evidence than not to suggest that that's not the case. That said, there's a massive correlation between.
I've had to research.
There's a massive correlation
for my degree, and any source that says video games definitely 100% cause violence, it's usually some trashy newspaper trying to get clicks, or some trashy website trying to clickbait. But then if you read an actual academic source, they will go through a lot of the evidence and then just resound with a fucking no. They don't. Because
see, my viewpoint. Oh, gone.
I was just going to say, there's so much more to violence than just like video games. With video games, there's such an instant disconnect, I feel. If you take what you're playing in a video game to be real, then there's underlying psychological conditions. So,
See, it's funny because I've always thought that video games don't cause violence. For me, it's always my train of thought has been, I think what it does do is it kind of desensitizes you to violence, I think. So it's not that it doesn't overtly cause violence. You don't see a fatality in Mortal Kombat, think, I'm gonna go take a knife and just slash somebody's guts out. No one does that. But I think what it does, it desensitizes you. So when you get angry, your openness to being violent is lowered, is heightened. You know what I'm saying?
To bring it back to Wonder Woman, the first one. One of the things I really liked about that film was her discussion with Ares, the god of war, right? It's all about, she's basically going, if I kill you, then everyone will lay down their arms, everyone will be fine, there'll be no more war. And his response to that was, I can tell them to build a gun, I can tell them to build a bomb, to create a poison, like mustard gas and stuff like that, but I'm never going to tell them to use it. And they do it anyway. And while that's that's very fictional, and it's not that cut and dry, it's interesting to see that was explored in that kind of a film, that kind of psychology. You can be presented with all these things and it's your choice to act upon that.
Yeah. Because I get exactly what Ihsan's saying, it's the desensitization, but there's so much violence. Not just in fictional media. Ignore the video games, ignore the violent TV shows, the films. The news has so much violence. Every time you turn on the news, there's some kind of war. There's someone getting stabbed. There's all this other stuff that's happening in reality that I think it makes the video games less shocking. Like, the fact that you can turn on Mortal Kombat and it seems relatively, not normal, but it's like, it's not disgusting because there's so much worse shit happening outside. It's like, yeah, I don't think video games cause violence at all. If anything, they're escape from it.
Well, let's explore that. Let's explore that in episode 8 of our podcast. Bloody hell, I'm losing track. Hello, fellow humans, and welcome to the She Machine Navigation Podcast. I am Luke, your host. I'm joined by Spike, Ihsan, Sasha. Doesn't add up, but it adds up for me. It's kind of clear what we're talking about. We're talking about violence in video games and in other things as well, in films, in. I have notes on music. If we get onto that, we'll get onto it. If not, fine. But there's, as you well know, you don't have to listen to this conversation to inform you. But there is a lot of violence everywhere, and media usually gets the blame as to why people are becoming more and more violent, when that's probably just not the case. So we're going to explore a little bit as to whether entertainment causes violence. Let's go.
Let's do it, boys.
We might as well start with. I kind of do want to start with video games, just to kind of get that over and done with, because it's the obvious one. With Mortal Kombat and those kind of graphic-y games, like even to an extent, games like The Last of Us. Actually, here's an interesting one. Here's an interesting take. If we've become so desensitized to violence over the years, do you think games, to be more interesting or engaging, get more and more graphic? And then springboarding off that, do you think graphic violence leads to more violence, as it were?
First answer, yes. Second answer, no.
Hit me. What you got?
Go on, son.
No, I was just going to say, it seems interesting because my viewpoint is that it's not that it has to get more violent, it just gets included more. So it's I saw a game. Who was playing? It was Party Animals, and it was Jacksepticeye, PewDiePie.
Yeah.
All of them were playing. But did you see what shocked me was they're there on the submarine, and one of the characters, Jacksepticeye's character, falls into the water, but he gets caught in the turbine, and then after the turbine, you just see a stream of red, which he then pixelated out. So I'm like, but this is a game about fluffy animals. Yes, they're beating the shit out of each other, which is innately hilarious because these fluffy animals just beating everybody up. But was that necessary? Do you get what I'm saying? Also, what's the one? The cartoon of the animals.
Happy
and
Tree
it was
Friends.
just really Happy Tree Friends. That was messed up. That was messed up.
Yeah.
Messed up. That was I remember watching that. I was like, what the hell? This is a cartoon, and it was like almost pushed to kids. You know what I'm saying? Like the cartoon was almost pushed to kids. Because
No, I was only watching that when I was younger.
Exactly.
When I was what, year 9? I think that was a big thing. Yeah.
And I was like, this is. But go on, Sasha, what you said.
Do you know what? Segue, after you said that, I was having a conversation with my mum yesterday. I don't know why, but I had this memory of being in primary school and a bunch of us going down the stairs to assembly, and someone was like, "I dare you to say the F word." Now think about that.
You have to dare man to do that.
But that's the thing. This was year 2. In year 2, it was deemed a wild enough dare to say the F word.
Yeah.
I think it makes complete sense that. Go on, Luke.
What are you saying with that? As in that year specifically? So going back in time as a species, or going back in time as us individually?
Going back in time as us individually.
Right. So you're saying that the older you get, the more you notice it, the less, or the more desensitized you are to it, I guess.
The older you get, the more desensitized in a way, because there's got to be something, you know. If we were daring each other to say the F word in year 2, like what were we daring each other to do in year 6? What were we expecting to watch on YouTube in year 7? What were we expecting to see at party in year 9? Do you know what I mean? How did it gradually ramp up, and how was it so gradual that we didn't notice that it was significantly a ramp up?
The funny thing is, I realised, I looked at, the thing is funny, I saw a meme, right, and it was this kid, the meme's kind of irrelevant, but it just made me think about how messed up the internet was during our adolescence. Like, do you remember there was blue? Like, remember? I don't want to say it, but I don't know. But it was messed up.
I'll bleep it.
It was just
Go on.
messed
I'll
up.
bleep it. I'll bleep it. Go on.
It was just messed up. I mean, remember all the jihadi killings that got put on the internet?
Yeah. I've seen too many of those. I've actually seen too many of those.
Yeah. It's just. It's funny, you never thought, because back then we were just like, oh, this shit's mad, oh my god, haha, this is funny, but now looking back at it, I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, what? Nuts.
But where does that perspective shift come from, do you think?
I just
because
think
we can go on,
I think it comes from like growing up, just in general. Like when you get to like year 7 to year 11, you're kind of edgy. You're like, oh, let's see how fucked we can be. Ooh, that's cool. And then you get past that and you're like, that was just, what the hell?
Nuts.
But then also in regards to like Sasha,
why do you think being edgy and stuff is so I don't want to say enticing, but like it's just like the it thing to be.
At that age you want to stand out, don't you? And whether you realise it or not, if everyone else is kind of looking at this thing going, oh, haha, funny, you kind of want to fit in and be like, you want to stand out but also be with everyone else. It's a weird peer pressure. I always felt anyway.
Yeah.
So, but like in regards to Sasha being dared to say the F word, like growing up generally.
I like how we're still saying dare to say the F word and not just saying dare to say fuck.
The fuck word.
I'm telling.
Oh my god. This Luke said
I
the
hated
F
those kids, man.
But yeah, if like a 6-year-old came up to you and was just like, fuck, you'd be like, shut the fuck up. But then if like
Shut up, kid.
Shut up.
if a 21-year-old said it, you wouldn't bat an eyelid. It's just like, it's just part of growing up, I guess. It's just the media you're exposed to it. You know, it's learning manners, I think.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I think it's funny because it's what I mean, for me, kind of, it's like, I wouldn't share that to my kid. So why the hell would we show this? Kind of thing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Because
I wouldn't sit my child down in front of a YouTube video of like some guy getting his head chopped off.
Yeah, but like Sasha said a couple weeks ago, you're still gonna find it.
Yeah.
As a kid, you know what I mean?
You can't hide it forever.
Just like I think. Go on, Luke.
What, like, to try and like course correct and stuff onto video games and movies and entertainment and stuff, because there's a lot of shit on the internet, full stop. But for specific media, I think Joker was a 15.
What?
I think.
Swear down.
See, now I haven't
I
seen
mean-
Joker, so I don't know how bad it is.
You haven't seen Joker yet?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, bro, I think you really
Is it
enjoy
bad?
It's not.
Yeah,
I think
Joker
I
was
would.
15.
Yeah,
I
it's a 15.
Yeah, that.
15.
Whoa.
Like, you can... Alright, not to kind of out ourselves, but I think it was very easy it's very easy to get tickets to something like that. I think Sasha and I actually did that once at the cinema near where we live.
Cineworld.
We were what, 14, and we managed to get into a 15 or something like that because we got the tickets online.
Yeah,
Shit like that. Like, there are ways around it.
Yeah.
What you got to do is
Ways around
let the peach fuzz grow out for a little bit, and you're fine.
just-
Video games and stuff. You know, like there are ways to get to
so
this
easy.
shit.
Oh, do you know what's annoying? Oh my god, I just clocked the amount of times that I went to a pre-owned game store when I was younger and tried to get an 18. They were strict on that stuff, but in this day and age, you can get a debit card at like 8, 9. What's to stop you from buying an 18 plus on the PlayStation store with a fake age?
Yeah.
It is so easy now, surely.
It is easy.
Ah.
It is. It is.
Mate, do you hear Cold War comes out tomorrow?
But even like, I
Mate,
don't
we've
know
got
about you guys,
science
but when I
at
was
4.
Fuck.
Go on,
But
as well.
when I was in high school, secondary school, people would like, even when I was in year 7, when the new Call of Duty came out, people would miss days to play it.
Modern Warfare 2. Oh.
Just because their parents would buy it for them. Modern Warfare 2 comes
That's
out.
you know what? That's the thing that always like because I had a mate back in secondary school days, and we were like, "What? This is so year 7 to year 9," and his mum would just buy all these games, and it was all these really just violent games. So he had all the fighters, shooters. He had GTA. And it's just really just games that really had this gratuitous violence in it. And I was like, these games are 18 plus. Why are you buying them for your 13-year-old son?
But did that person end up becoming a serial killer?
Well, of course, no. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Of course.
Yeah, no,
Of course
but
it
like,
didn't happen.
just bringing it back to the, just bring it back. of
Did
course,
you-
it's like,
Did you
they
ever
didn't kill
consider?
anyone.
Did you ever consider that you might have to avoid eye contact with this person?
No. Of course, he was like my best mate at the time.
Oh, okay, that's fine then.
So yeah.
To look at okay, coming off of what Spike said, and to bring it and to incorporate Joker and stuff like that. A lot of Joker's controversy was around the fact that people were expecting there to be shooters at showings of this, at showings of the in America, and the director Todd Phillips came out and said a couple things, and so did Joaquin Phoenix. I'm gonna say each one. I want your take on this. So Todd Phillips said, "We're making a movie about a fictional character in a fictional world, ultimately, and your hope is that people take it for what it is, i.e. a work of fiction." Do you think that's a thing that people do?
No,
Why? Like,
it's a problem that they don't, and we talked about this in.
We literally talked about it in the episode.
We talked about this with Last of Us, and
Yeah,
people getting
exactly,
onto the actors because they, did something to the character they love. Like, people can't do that. As much as we hope for people to do that, apparently we haven't developed enough that everyone's on the same wavelength. Maybe soon.
what I mean is, some people, the incels and stuff like that, you can get riled up by this because you want a cause to fight behind, but it is the vast minority.
Yeah.
Is
always
that
gonna be
what
that.
you're saying? It's a minority, and I think it's more the expectation for there to be something catastrophic that happens around something like this. To elaborate further, a Time magazine critic was basically saying that, look, this film on one hand, it doesn't glorify him necessarily, but it doesn't reprimand him for what he does in the film. You can't have it both ways, and I feel like from a filmmaking position, your protagonist is a villain first and foremost. You're telling their story. You know, you're supposed to know this is a bad guy. But that kind of stigma around it, and that kind of, what I'm trying to say, do you think filmmakers should be more like, this is a bad action, this is, you know, not something that you should do? Or is that still up for people to, should people be mature enough to know that that's not something you stand behind?
See, that's the thing.
You know
I think definitely, I mean, I think what this article failed to grasp was that there was a reason they didn't reprimand him as a character. And there's also a reason why they didn't glorify him, because you're meant to make your own personal decision about how you feel his actions, how bad you feel his actions were. That's what I got from that.
It feels to be the point of the film.
Yeah, exactly. It's just... There we are. Sorry, yeah, what was I saying? Right, so it didn't show either side of the tracks, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't cater to any person's opinion. This is you look at it and how do you feel about it? Because to either extent, I think we can sympathise with Joker. You can see, okay, and that's the thing, that's what I got about Joker. Just looking from the trailers, it showed the Joker being made. What led him to those actions. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's that brilliant final line at the end of the film. It's what do you get when you cross a mentally ill human being and a society that you know, that kicks him when he's down and stuff like that. You get what you fucking deserve. It's kind of over the top moment, yeah, fair enough, but it's very, very, for that specific kind of example, it's pretty fucking well done.
See, it's interesting.
You're right. It does. The trailers, the film itself shows people knocking this person down.
I think the first like half an hour is just the world shitting on this guy.
Yeah.
And him dealing with it as well. Like, it takes a while for him to actually snap. So,
see, it's funny because looking at what you just said, I didn't know that was a quote, and it's interesting. Is the movie just an exercise in empathy? How empathetic are you as a person when you watch this film? I mean, of course, we all know the Joker's actions are bad. He's a psychopath. They're bad actions. But can you see that? Can you also see his pain?
But I think, from my point of view of the Joker, it's like a social commentary on how society deals with mental health, and if we just simply helped those people like the Joker wouldn't exist, because it could have been so easily avoided if society helped him in the first place. Not just society in general, but like government help in mental health.
The system.
Yeah.
Fuck the system. Fuck the system.
It's like
America. I mean, this is set in a a fictional place in America, but even the coverage of the film before it came out, they were predicting, this might invoke X amount of shootings, because something similar happened when The Dark Knight came out. Someone was dressed up as the Joker.
Yeah, and he went into a cinema and let off tear gas?
Yeah.
And started shooting.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Or I think had a gun, I'm not sure, can't remember specifically. Do you think then that looking at, but like you said earlier on, Spike, about there being violence on the news and stuff everywhere you go, do you think that fuels the fire more so than the actual media itself? Because that's kind of my standpoint.
Yeah.
I'm kind of very much, it's a nuanced argument, and there's a lot of discussion to be had, but I feel like sometimes the expectation for something to go wrong, what's that rule in physics or something like that? Like, anything that can go wrong will go wrong or something like that. Like the more you're kind of expecting... Murphy's Law. That's it. Like, it feels like it's just that amplified.
But I mean, this is a slight tangent, but when serial killers are often interviewed, their idols are other serial killers. Like, a good example is the Columbine high school shooting. Wasn't their idol, they wanted to be idolised, well not idolised, but as infamous as another serial killer, so they did what they did. Sure, they were also bullied, and they also had a shit upbringing, which again led them to that. They should not have done it, but could it have been prevented if they had help where help was needed? And I feel like that's more of an impact than anything like video games or film.
It's all about empathy, as you were saying earlier on, Ihsan, I think. And I think that's why I get so frustrated with some video games, because I feel like there's some ludonarrative dissonance, and also there's a lot of misinterpretation.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go down two little roads here, and I want you guys to tell me what you think. With the ludonarrative dissonance side of it, there's some games like Uncharted 4 where that whole story, the whole narrative is telling you he's trying to give it up. He's trying to get out. He's trying to live a good life. He's trying to get out of all the stuff that he does. But the gameplay is that here's a stage. You kill 50 people. You move on to the next stage where you kill another 50 people. Like that doesn't add up to me too much.
It's the wildest game in the series.
It is. It's a bit mad. Conversely to that, to use another Naughty Dog example, a lot of people misunderstood The Last of Us Part 2 because they were like, why is there not enough killing in this? Why is there not enough, revenge and stuff? And it's because the whole game is supposed to be an empathy machine. It's supposed to be...
I'm just plugging my stuff in.
It's supposed to be, look at this person who you're supposed to hate, and the end of the story is letting go. How do you feel about that kind of thing? Those kind of stories? Not just in video games, but in like media and stuff, and film and...
Yes, son?
I don't know, man. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, it's I guess for the first example of Uncharted, it's almost similar to the trolley experiment. The trolley.
Sorry, wait. I lost that. You glitched out literally as you said it.
Did I? You know the trolley experiment where it's or the train tracks where there's a train coming down the tracks, and it splits off in two directions, and you have control of the switch, and the switch will switch and go to one person, or the other track has like how many other people. Which will you choose?
Oh yeah.
And it's. I mean, I find that interesting because he's trying to get out. He's trying to be good. He's trying to do that. But the story forces him to combat and kill all these people, which is interesting. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that one. Just kind of trying to make a link, I guess. But
how do you as a player, how do you react to that? Because if there's this overarching kind of thought that video games cause violence and stuff like that, how do you as a player react? Would you react to something like that?
See, yeah, because I mean, I feel like there's two schools, or not schools of thought, but it's kind of like there's two kind of modes you can go into when playing games. You can go the GTA way, which is like, oh, I'm here to fuck about. I wouldn't generally do this, but this is funny. Ha 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 ha. Let me punch this person in the street. Ha ha. Kind of thing. And then there's this is combat. This is the story. So I guess in that side of it, the violence is part of the story. Do you get what I'm saying? I think there's kind of the thing of there's realistic violence and there's gratuitous violence. So realistic violence of this is what would actually happen, this is part of the story. And then there's gratuitous violence, which is a bit like Mortal Kombat, where it's like the fatality, this person is, you know. So, I mean, for me, I can obviously disconnect from that. I'm not gonna get, oh my god, like, I can see both from a story perspective and also from the other side of just messing about. I can disconnect from it. It's not, this is the game, this is my life, I'm so angry and violent. There's obviously a disconnect from that. It's a difficult one. Yeah.
What about you guys? What do you think?
Sorry, Luke, what was the question?
What do you think about those kind of, as it games that kind of have this ludonarrative dissonance, this kind of disconnect between what you're playing and
do you know
versus games that are more like, can you spot a game that is supposed to be an empathy machine, like The Last of Us Part 2? Or
it's funny that you just mentioned the ludonarrative thing. I mentioned last episode Persona 5, this idea that everything you do matters, every little thing, but in the sense that it realistically matters, like it makes 100% sense. And I think that's probably why that has become my favourite JRPG so quickly, because I think as an RPG it should be all about the decisions you make and how they affect, you know, and how they actually realistically make sense. So yeah, in a game like that, going back to gratuitous and over the top, what's a better example for a game that maybe when I was younger? God of War, the original God of War. Oh my goodness, I remember when I first played it on PS2, and although I understand, yes, this is Greek mythology and this is a huge monster that has 3 heads, did you have to do it like that? Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, he's got chains around his... Like, the whole idea of chains on fire stuck to your wrists and then throwing it and the chain being on fire and, you know, and then it being stuck in something's neck and then swinging around it. Do you know what I mean? Like, what are you doing?
Is that your thought now or as a kid?
That's my... do you know what? That has always been my thought. The difference is when I was a kid, it was like... oh my god, I can't believe he's doing that. And now it's like, oh my god, I can't believe he actually did that.
Yeah.
It's
can't
less
believe
of...
you've done this.
I can't believe you've done this. It's less of the shock and awe, more of just the shock. There's no awe, it's just shock. Because I've seen it already, but it's like a, wow. It's more like, what can they do next, you know? I was hyped for God of War 3, because what can you do in HD now? That idea blew my mind. Yeah, exactly. Haven't played through God of War 4, but one thing... if I'm going to stick with the God of War series, I remember watching the boss battle between... Who's the main villain?
Balder,
right. The part where he comes up to the door, and then he starts talking shit, and then it ends with him... ends with Kratos, like, continuously punching him in the face. Like, just straight up spot and rage. Like, raw. Do you know what I mean? It was almost like the same level of this is a mad thing, but realistic, you know? Because he's not swinging around and defying the laws of gravity and setting things on fire with his blades. He's just beating the shit out of a guy who talks shit outside his house. You know? That's real.
But I feel like, in context of the God of War series, so early on they had a lot of like ultra violence and that was all that. But then with the addition of HD graphics and all that, I actually feel there's not too much further they can go. Sure, they can make it look more brutal, they can make it look more realistic, but that's already happened. So I really think they knuckled down on the story, and that was evident in the latest ones, where everyone's just gone, the story's incredible. And it's the same with even Mortal Kombat, because they've done the fatalities, they've done all of that, and it's still there. But actually, the story in Mortal Kombat 11 is good. It's a good plot.
Give me some lore.
Because,
so then, if developers and stuff are kind of limited by how much they can do now because they are so close to being, you know, like photoreal and all that jazz, why is this? And B, because, you know, I think there's kind of a shift towards more narrative-driven stuff anyway. Why do you think there's still this perception that this is the root of all evil when it comes down to violence in kids?
Because the media wants...
Well, whoever.
The media and parents and older generations who don't understand this new thing want to blame it for something. And it's always been that way. When films
look for a scapegoat.
Yeah, when they've even blamed books for being too violent or corrupting. Music, even in the 50s, they're blaming rock and roll for being too sexy.
Yeah, exactly.
Could you imagine one of those people listen to WAP? Just like...
Good
have a heart attack.
Literally.
People just want someone to blame.
The thing I find interesting also, I think the reason why... Oh, sorry. Wait, okay, Spike's talking. I can't hear him.
No, I'm done.
I know, I'll use like really hard. Okay, what was I saying? Yeah, I think it's interesting also the reason why the media have attached to gaming in such a way. And all of that is because it's a certain stereotype that is famed, you know, with gamers. It's the nerd, it's the you know, it's the outcasts of society. So it's okay to stigmatize them. It's okay to because it's, and I mean that's partly the way our society works nowadays, but it's an easy scapegoat, I think, as well, the gaming industry, to say that, oh, they're so much more, you know, open to violence and they're so angry and this, you know, it's easy to, instead of actually looking deeper into what causes violence in people, you know, maybe it's not the game, maybe it's the fact that this guy is in a shitty situation, he just lost his job, and you know, he just there's something, just this life's kicking him in the balls, I was gonna say, but life's kicking him when he's down and he's angry. Let's look at the actual social things to help this person instead of just blaming it on this one thing.
Yeah, and it's always been...
That's why I find Joker to be a cautionary tale more than anything else. I think. I mean, we've already kind of breached that, but I don't know, man. That definitely feels like this is what happens when you don't look after people.
Yeah, and
you're going to get violence because, you know, people, you know, it I don't know. Sometimes it feels like not retribution. Sometimes eye for an eye kind of jazz. Which is often misguided, but sometimes I think comes from a place of, you made me feel lonely. And if I, you know, so that's if violence is the only thing that people see as the way out, I think, as Joker kind of cautions, it's what they're going to take. I also kind of, building on media and stuff like that, The Hunger Games is really, really underappreciated.
I love The
really
Hunger Games.
Underappreciated.
Great set of books. I devoured those books.
Mate, fantastic. But what I find so ironic is the books are all about, hey, oppression, division, you know, people feeling like they're lost, and how, you know, it's up to the next generation to topple, quite literally, President Snow, the old white man. And yet the media chose to focus on not only the love triangle, wasn't really a triangle, but haven't they made a song of like a remix of The Hanging Tree?
Oh my god.
The Hanging Tree
or something?
Was a messed up song.
Yeah, they did.
That was a messed up song. Yeah.
I don't know, man. It feels like it's trying to find a scapegoat isn't quite enough of a description.
But it's also
it's limiting thought.
Yeah, it's similarly. I think a really good example is "Fuck the Police" by NWA, where the song is just highlighting and spitting facts about what is going on right now, and people rally behind it. People like, yeah, let's spit in facts. Let's get behind this. And then the media was like, oh yeah, it's the song that's causing this violence, not the police brutality, not the shit that's going on. You sure?
See, that's what's funny about that is I also take that back to the gaming. It's interesting because what I said, that it's easy to no, hold on. It's easy to stigmatize and generalize because of the group it's attached to. See, I find when they say about the music and the violence in the music, it's because it's black people. Yeah. And because it mainly came from the hood, where black people it's a large black majority. We're talking about how hard shit is. This is what we have to live day in, day out in these areas where we live. And then you've taken it like, oh, it's them, it's the music, it's them, it's bad. They're influencing our youth to be violent and da-da-da. And again, it's they should think it's okay to do this because it's attached to a certain group of people.
Yeah.
I don't know. Bro, it's the modern equivalent of whipping us on the fields for singing about how much it hurts and how hot it is. It's literally the modern equivalent. Like, yes, law has changed, but that's about it. Everyone's breaking the rules or bending them anyway. It is what it is, man.
See, and it's also interesting. It is bleak. It's very bleak. But would the songs be so violent if the situation in that place wasn't so bad? No, you know, if proper funding got put into those communities and people weren't. Now, I'm not saying that that's the only way out. It's not. But if it wasn't such an easy option, if selling drugs wasn't such an easy option, if trapping, all of that wasn't such an easy option, if there was actual funding, help got given, you know, if people gave a shit, essentially, would the music be so violent? Would that it wouldn't, because if all, you know, young people in the hood, because it's not just young black boys, young boys of every race get kicked out of school and everything, get discriminated against, weren't kicked out of school and then road was their only option. Would the music be so violent? I don't think so.
I always feel like whenever anyone says only option, it defeats the object of or it contradicts the idea of there being an option in the first place. Because to me, it's always like there was probably another option at some point, but for some reason or another, I feel like I can't go down that route because man up top says that I can't follow that route anymore. So the only option is, that was really poorly explained, but there's got to be a reason as to why that feels like the only option for people, or why it's the most attractive option.
I mean, it makes sense.
It makes sense, but if we're kind of on the consensus that it's not video games or film or whatever, what do you think it is?
I think,
you know, sometimes it's just the streets
that makes people violent.
Sometimes it's just the streets. I don't know why we tend to forget that is genuinely a possibility. Sometimes it's just the streets. Some people do not have the connections to media. Even these days, some people still don't play games. Some people still don't use Instagram. Some people still don't have a phone. Like, there are still people in places near us that are just not living these lives. You know, there are shooters that haven't played GTA. There are shooters that don't play COD. Do you know what I mean? They probably don't have the time because they're busy being shooters to probably do something a little bit more aspirational, like, you know, feed the family or so and so. Like, it's just another possibility. Like, not every kind of link is legit. Do you know what I mean?
See, it's interesting. What I think a reason why a lot of people turn to violence is because we've been fed this idea for years, for eons, that violence gets shit done. You know, if somebody was chatting smack, you go beat them up. If somebody was out of line, You go, back in the days of kings and lords, if somebody spoke out of turn, you smack the shit out of them.
You get slapped with the glove.
You get slapped
with the glove, mate.
If somebody insulted you, like I recently watched Bridgerton, the Netflix series Bridgerton. I recently watched that. What happened? You insulted my sister's honor. We duel at dawn. Violence gets you done. If you insult me, I have to teach you a lesson. War. The amount of wars in human history that were just not needed. If we sat down and spoke to each other, had empathy for each other, and spoke properly, and didn't just say, well, I want this, I'm going to take out my sword if I don't get it. It's kind of the conquering of nations.
One thing that
kind of stuff.
you kind of just said there, as to like we kind of force fed this idea of violence gets shit done, is I thought it was going to be pretty cut and dry when it came down to looking at like TV and gratuitous and film when it came down to like gratuitous violence, but apparently it's not. Apparently recently, well, more recently than not anyway. Where's my notes on this? Because this was interesting. People have split violence into justified violence and unjustified violence, and have more of a positive response to films like Taken, where it's like not necessarily the underdog, but the I have been wronged, therefore I'm gonna get my daughter back. Then stuff like Skyfall or Sicario. This was the University of Pennsylvania study. What do you guys think about that? About the kind of split between justified and unjustified violence, based on what you just said, Ihsan?
May I? Okay, I'm gonna quickly hop back on catch the rebound with this one. It's interesting because I think, of course, there's the whole idea of exacting retribution. Like, this is for a noble cause, and as also, I think religion has a lot to do with that as well. I was
going to say Cain and Abel, right?
I was like,
it's very biblical.
The Crusades. We're doing this to teach the heathens of the world that Christianity is what we need. When you're going to people's countries and slaughtering them by the thousands. Yeah. The whole what's the game? The game about the Crusades, and he goes into hell, and he's chopping up sinners. Dante's Inferno. That's one.
Yeah.
That's a very violent. There's a scene.
That game. I forgot about that one.
It's a mad game. I bought it. I've got it.
No, legit.
I played it ages ago. I've got it. I played the demo
on PS3. It literally looks like the developers watched God of War and was like, bet.
And let's just add Christianity.
Okay.
I'll have whatever he's having.
Slice of that.
Yeah. It's interesting. This what we base morality. It's interesting what we class as moral, and how we moralize violence. Is that violent? Because not everybody is Christian. Not everybody understands this way of looking at it. Not everybody has a different viewpoint. So it differs from person to person. What is good violence? It's a question like, is there even good violence? Is there bad violence? How violence is violence?
I argue
taking action against another person. How can that ever be good? Go on. Sorry, Spence.
I argue if you punch a nonce, it's justified violence.
Yeah. Okay.
Very true.
Yeah. And as we were talking about last week, if you blow up a couple Nazis, that's probably,
fucking Nazi bitch.
I think we can all agree.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Oh god. Nazi bitch.
Just bad people are allowed to get beaten up, and it's pretty primary, isn't it? I don't like bad people. We hurt bad people and no one else. We hurt the bad to protect
even
the
that.
good.
See, even this argument has to be, it's a nuanced one, because then you have the whole cancelling aspect of stuff. Like, it's not overt violence, but it, you know,
Or
as we
do
discussed
people-
previously to this.
Or do people create bad people as an excuse? So the whole Iraqi war. You know, terrorists.
Man, if we're looking at historical examples, man, you look at the fucking Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah.
Nobody
That's most of the reason why. Yeah, nobody expected it.
And people use it as an excuse to get what they want. So the Americans, they wholly invaded, you know, Iraq and everywhere for oil, and used this whole guise of, you know, weapons of mass destruction for oil. So was that justified, or did they just dupe everyone, kind of thing?
It's scapegoating. That example is to. It matches up perfectly with media and with, well, not media specifically, but like the news and video games. I think it needs a scapegoat to kind of explain why people are the way they are, because it doesn't want to acknowledge that it might be the reason people are insecure. People aren't, you know, don't want to have conversation. Looking at you, Fox News.
Oh dear. You can turn that channel on at any time and just crease. It's so mad.
Jesus
it's
Christ.
so mad. Oh, my fellow Americans.
I think anything just boils down to our ending slogan, really.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
When are we going to stop doing this and just have every episode just don't do it?
Just don't do it.
Just don't do it.
Just don't.
Don't be a. We can do it there. I'm going to do it right there. Don't be a. It's so. Oh.
Oh.
It is true though. Speaking of that, I really enjoyed, and I know this is controversial, Iron Man 3 because of that.
Oh wait.
And I know this is kind of like a dump on America and American politics, but you know, you kind of fucked up. But the whole reveal that this East Asian figurehead of the Ten Rings, this terrorist group, is actually just an actor, and it's really
Yeah.
Oh, is that the scene where he comes in? He has the octopus hands. He's like on the racetrack in Monaco.
No, that's Iron Man 2.
That's
Iron Man
2.
2, yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm trying to remember Iron Man
3 is Ben Kingsley.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah, like he Iron Man breaks into the mansion,
Yeah.
and then he comes out of the toilet and he's like, I won't go in there for 20 minutes. Like, I like that idea. That again, it's all about scapegoats. I don't know, man. I don't know where I'm going with this.
I mean, we always perceive. Yeah, it's always been pushed. I mean, and that it ties in with that. You've got to create something to enact violence, because violence is a means to an end. That's as a society, I think that's generally how we view violence. Violence is always a means to an end. Doesn't matter what the end is. It's just a means. And I think we've definitely, as a society,
I don't want to compound the conversation, because it feels like we are going around a little bit. But like, what do you guys feel about revolutions then? Like the French Revolution, for example, stuff like that. That was arguably based on subjective morals, justified, but had a lot of fallout. Like, what do you guys feel about that?
I mean, fuck the bourgeoisie for one. So
Essentially, they don't have bread, give them cake. Really? Really? That actually became a meme throughout history?
Yeah.
Really, guys? Come on.
I was watching Madagascar 2, and that was Madagascar 1, and that's in there. Like, bruh.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Historical memes.
Imagine being that much of a dickhead that long ago and it's still lasting. Revolution, sure. Big up the French. They know how to get it done.
get
the French do know how
guillotines
to get it
out.
done.
They get it done.
Get
it done.
guillotines
Michel Barnier.
out.
I swear to God. I swear to God. Oh God.
See, it's interesting because again, I think it's this lack of lack of empathy and this lack of understanding for other people, because of course with the French Revolution it was all the bourgeoisie and all them, and then you have this class that are underneath your heel for however long. So we ask you to stop, we ask you to stop, we ask you, we ask you, we ask you, we ask you. You're deaf, your ears will stop working, so my fists will.
Damn.
2020, I can't breathe.
I can't breathe.
Oh god.
I can't breathe. It's been too long.
Oh god.
Do you know what I mean? It's been too long.
It's been too long.
It was dealt with. It was asked about. It was talked about. It wasn't listened to. We take to the streets.
Yeah. And then they're like,
It's been done before.
rioting, it's so unfair. It's like, what are you doing?
Wow.
It's fucked
I-
up.
It's fucked up.
So what we're saying is, lads, it's not video games.
It's
No,
definitely
it's not.
fucking video games.
It's just
video. Really very good point. No,
it's just people being the C word, and they need to stop. Right?
Stop.
It's as simple as that.
Go on, Luke. Say it. Say it, Luke.
I'll do it in the outro. Fuck it.
Hold off.
I think that's probably. I think we said everything that we can really on that. Unless you guys have any examples of all. I got to phrase this correctly. Violence that you enjoyed,
Oh god.
or that you, or the, you know, if you're into that kind of stuff. No, just like examples of where maybe. Okay, let me phrase it this way: where video games kind of change your perspective on. Or made you more empathetic, or had the exact opposite reaction that you were supposed to.
I had an incredibly strange reaction to the Saw series when I was younger.
Oh god.
Both
We
the games
missed
and the
all
films.
of that. Jesus,
Huh?
the Saw series. We skipped
mate,
over
that
all
stuff
of
was wild.
Wild.
Purge,
Purge.
Reverse bear trap. What does that even mean? The art of. Now I have to step back and say subjectively, like, it's a terrible thing to do to anyone. Of course, you literally can't do that. But the idea of, we're probably gonna have to cut this. I don't know. Do you know what? Let's not even do it. No, let's not even do it. Let's not even do it. All I'm saying is mad stuff. I think that in particular, where the violence and the gore. Yeah, the violence and
is
the
that
gore.
when it's like, but it's reverse and it's like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It basically rips your jaw open.
Oh god.
Yeah, it's crazy, but the fact that someone thought of that, and more importantly, thought of, like, there were prop people and a director who thought about putting this device together and filming it in a way that made it look realistic straight up. Do you know what I mean? Like, the amount of how fucked did you have to be to get that done?
Yeah.
Like, are you okay? Are you okay, brother? Like, raw. It's a bit mad. It's a bit mad. On levels like that, I gotta respect it.
I mean, it's interesting because even with like Christmas in history was outlawed back in ancient days. Christmas was the original purge. Like on one day, all laws were gone, done. You could do anything you wanted. Christmas was Saturnalia, all of that madness and revelry on Christmas. Christmas was the, like. Is violence innate? I don't know.
Oh, what a time to be alive!
It's mad.
Well, that's a whole nature versus nurture argument there.
That's
nature
a whole
innate.
other podcast.
Is violence innate?
That's a whole other podcast episode. Yeah.
I just wanted to pet the rabbits, Lenny.
Oh god. Oh,
George,
stop
rather.
it.
My bad.
Stop it.
Spike,
Huh?
did you have one?
Kind of. Similar to Ihsan's point on Christmas, but the Purge, the film. Specifically, the first Purge. Not the first Purge film, the film The First Purge. There's a bit where...
Which is like the fourth one or something, right?
Yeah, something fucked like that.
Yeah.
But there's a bit where there's a group of KKK people shooting into a shop owned by a black owner, and then the mandem of the area just roll up and gun down the KKK, and it was just like, get fucked.
Wholesome.
Content. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's any like stuff that I've like really enjoyed. I mean that there's
Well, not really enjoyed, but like stuff that you weren't expecting to have a profound effect on you, in a positive way.
I mean,
Video game, film.
It's funny. There's a scene in Game of Thrones. You know when what's the dwarf's name? What's his name?
Tyrion.
Tyrion Lannister, my favorite.
Oh, my guy. The only redeemable character in that series after Ned. Rest in peace.
Literally, Tyrion. He's there.
Have we all watched it, by the way? We all finished it?
Yeah,
I stopped at season
it.
3. I stopped at season 3 because I just hate it. I hate everyone. I just hate everyone.
Oh,
Everyone's just such a scumbag in such an individual way. I can't like anyone. I can't like it. Even Jon Snow. Like, what are you doing? Doing madness in the Northfort? Like, what? Man came to the wall to get work done, and now he's frolicking with some redhead thing. What are you doing?
Damn.
Calm down. Calm down.
Kissed by fire.
Wait.
Kissed by fire.
No, you know that that's his IRL wife.
Swear down.
Yeah, they're married.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a G then.
He's a G.
Wait, I swear he's on a. Wait, no, but I swear he's on a thing with what's her name, Daenerys.
Nah.
I swear that happened.
In the what do you call it? In the series.
Right,
Yeah.
so he is a scumbag. Okay, cool.
That's also his
right.
cousin as well. Daenerys is Jon Snow's cousin.
Yeah. No.
Oh yeah.
No, it's his aunt.
Wait.
aunt.
Plot-wise.
It's his aunt.
Oh.
Yeah. Man.
Oh, it's his aunt.
It's his aunt.
Oh, swear
It's his
down.
aunt in the series. It's peak. He didn't know. He didn't know. What was I saying?
show.
Yes, Tyrion Lannister. Oh God, yes. And, right, so there's two things. There are two things in Game of Thrones. The scene where Tyrion shoots his dad in the toilet. That was.
Hell yeah.
That was I'm sorry, but you take that one. And when Joffrey gets poisoned. Now I know Joffrey's meant to be a
Oh
heel,
yeah.
but that little fucker deserved everything he got. I'm sorry, Joffrey.
I saw and heard the memes.
I'm sorry,
I hate his face.
but
I hate his face.
poisoning was a bit of an easy way out, to be honest.
Yeah.
for Joffrey.
Yeah.
Bit of an easy way out. You're lucky.
Remember when Game of Thrones was good?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Remember when it wasn't disappointing?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, in comparison to what happened to that guy, remember he just got captured and tortured for ages. What was his name?
Yeah. Theon.
Yeah, Greyjoy. Yeah, Theon Greyjoy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was. Oh God. That was mad.
There were some terrible characters in there, man.
Yeah.
That was mad.
Absolute waste, man.
I feel like Theon kind of redeemed himself at the end, but that was just peak.
He did, but he went out like. I have so many issues with season 8
Yeah,
or whatever the fuck
yeah.
the last season was.
It really,
so bad.
you know what? It really just, it was so off-brand. It was so off-brand. It was just so off-brand. I mean, I don't think Daenerys would have done that.
Maybe we should do that next. Maybe we should do that next.
What?
Subverting expectations.
Wow.
And how it never works.
Never works.
Occasionally it works.
What?
Spike, have you seen Mandalorian yet? Season 2?
Oh, I'm watching it soon. I need to.
Still haven't seen season 1.
Neither have I.
You should do that.
Or any Star Wars film ever.
Oh God.
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm not that bad, people. I've seen Star Wars.
Sash, do you want to binge all of them before next
Yes.
episode?
Do you know what? I will make that my homework.
No way, really?
Yeah, do you know what? Actually, do you know what? If you edit this episode, if you do all of it, then I will have the whole series watched by next week.
Are we talking Mandalorian or Star Wars?
Star Wars.
As in all the movies.
And I'll start all the movies, and I'll start on season 1 of The Mandalorian.
Can you watch the
By
Clone
next
Wars as
time.
well? Because the Clone Wars is honestly my best part of Star Wars.
Do you know what?
The best thing about Star Wars.
I actually did watch a bit of Clone Wars when it was out.
It's so good.
The animation, yeah. I actually need to watch that. I actually want to watch that. I've read the, have you seen the little comic books? I had a couple of little comic books. And those were sick. I enjoyed those. I had like 3 of them. Yeah, there was literally like before. Yeah, there was like these little comic books of like the Clone Wars and like we would.
Oh damn!
Yeah,
I might have
really
to do it
enjoyed
soon. Can't lie.
It's alright, I think we're gonna wrap up anyway.
I'm gonna go watch Star Wars.
Get
Yeah.
some culture.
I think I will do it now. Actually,
do it for the culture. Get some culture in here.
Alright, but you have to do original trilogy, then prequel, and then sequel.
Original trilogy,
Okay.
prequel, sequel.
So 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9.
Oh,
No,
what?
You can miss
it
that.
pays it's
Oh god, you know.
Does it happen in that
Oh
order?
wait. No.
Oh god. Yeah, it's not in all. It's not.
We'll discuss this after we wrap up.
Okay.
Right. Thank you guys for listening to this. It's a very nuanced argument, and this was never supposed to be the be all and end all of the answer as to blah, 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 blah. Does media cause violence? If any of this, anything that we've talked about is kind of an issue, then please do whatever you can to find help. But bottom line is, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and of course, until we see you next time, that'll be a cut.